one. Hey, everybody. Welcome to That's Good Stuff, the show where we take deep dives into pop culture's newest releases. And this week it was Dune Prophecy. How did they not call this Prophecy of Dune? I don't know. Mistakes were made in this series, and we're going to get to it. We watched the first two episodes. They were called The Hidden Hand and Two Wolves. So that was the first two we watched. I'm just going to smush in the description of these two just because we got more to say than the actual plot of the whole show. So it starts off with some narration, tells us what's been going on. I should say the first screen you see has words that make the fans very angry right off the bat. So that's been the talk. But it gives us kind of flashback. Going into the show, I thought it was going to be about like the founding of the Jenner Bezeret, and it didn't turn out to be that way because they already have a mother superior, and she's on her deathbed, and she tells a young sister, go with the plan. Do not go away from the plan. She's like, all right.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $300.
This doesn't make one of the other sisters happy, so she has to kill her with her voice.
Her newfound power, the voice.
The voice, which is like the worst version of the voice I've ever heard. But
well, it was just like
do it. So we go into the future a little bit, and she's now the Mother Superior herself. Meanwhile, on the capital planet, the House Carino rules with the Emperor, and he is preparing for a wedding between his daughter, who is very important to the plans of the Sisterhood.
Oh, that was her younger?
Yeah.
I just got that.
Ding! So, yeah, the wedding between the Emperor's daughter, who wants to be in the Sisterhood, who they want to train because they want one of their own on the throne. And she's going to marry this 9-year-old guy, this 9-year-old boy from house. I don't remember what house he's from, but he's the son of a duke. And the duke has a fleet that is very important to the Emperor because the Emperor needs it to control Arrakis, because those who control the spice control the universe. So meanwhile, we meet a soldier of the Emperor's. He somehow survived a sandworm attack on Arrakis, and he's here to tell the story. It's given him strange powers, as what happens when you get swallowed by a worm. You get strange powers. We all agree on that. So.
Yep. What happens?
So the marriage is about to happen. There's other people. There's an Atreides in there somewhere, but there's not important to talk about right now. The wedding happens, and they're on the wedding night, or it's like a ceremony. It's not a wedding, but the boy, he had a machine that freaks everyone out because, thinking machines aren't cool in the Dune universe. They even fought a war about it. We'll talk about that later. But so everyone freaks out, and it's nighttime. Everyone's sleepy. The Emperor can't sleep, so he's gonna go watch this YouTube video about how the guy survived a worm attack, and then the guy's gonna
watching Quinn's idea real quick.
The guy's gonna talk to the boy. And the boy's like, "Sir, I don't feel so good," and he kind of catches on fire. And
from the inside,
has been assassinated.
What do you mean, kind of?
Also assassinated was one of the sisters who was, she was close to the princess. So, and she had gone back to the Sisterhood because she had seen a scary dream. And she was going to go warn them. So episode 2, that happens in episode 1. Episode 2, the Mother Superior, she's like, I'm going to the capital, see what I can do because stuff is freaking me out. I'm very scared because the plan is going off the rails. Meanwhile, her right-hand lady, she has this promising student that they believe can use that genetic memory power so she could talk to the ancestors. And so she's going to get her to do that. It takes some, prodding, and, you could do this for the sisterhood. You can. And some lying we found out too. So the second episode, the soldier has been put under arrest by the emperor, and the mother superior goes to talk to the soldier, and she doesn't like him. He's not lying. He believes what he believes, but she's like, "Get these guys out of here." And get these guys, or you should probably just kill this guy. The emperor, no, because my wife is very bossy and annoying, and she wants him to live because she thinks we can use him for our own plans. And so the little girl, she's kind of a little girl. They put her under that thing where she's gonna talk to the ancestors. They want her to talk to the old mother superior. She goes in there, and we find out. Remember that lady that died in the beginning of the first episode? She wants revenge. She's mad. So she is talking to the little girl, and she's got her own plans. And one of those plans is the soldier guy who talks to Mother Superior and finds out that her voice does not work on him because he is so committed to the emperor. And that's pretty much it for the first two episodes. My first thoughts, I'll go through my thoughts real fast, is that you can pretty much cut 45 minutes from each of these episodes and just show me the end, and I would be okay. I would know everything. So it's a lot of nothing, a lot of padding, and a lot of nothing in these episodes. It could have probably been just like a half-hour episode, and I would have been fine. But I hated the second. I didn't actually hate the first one, but the second one was really bad. It was boring, and I just wanted it to end. The first one ended, and I was like, okay, the ending was okay. They have two okay scenes in each of them, and it's at the end. So you just cut out the top and just give me the end, and I'll watch that. Okay, so let's get your guys' thoughts on it. So Thomas, you had a lot to say, so you can say it now.
Okay. Well, I don't have a lot to say, but the thing that I was just like, I don't know this story, but I think I know something about this. I kind of know this story. I was like, this isn't Frank Herbert stuff. I looked it up. Nope. It's Brian Herbert. It's Brian Herbert stuff. I was like,
yeah. It's based on the schools of Schools of Dune or something like that.
Of Dune, yeah. And it's between the Schools of Dune and the I forgot that other quadrilogy thing that they wrote. Him and Anderson?
Him and Jay Anderson.
Yeah, I've read 2 books by them, and they're not very good, at all. And from what I've heard, in the other Dune communities, his stuff just kind of sucks compared to Frank Herbert's stuff. So, okay. There's a few details here that I think that the production missed here. So they have orange Catholic Bibles. Did you guys notice that?
Mm-hmm.
But they're actually orange Bibles, and they're not microfilm, because in the books, and it's in the first book, these books are this tiny, probably a little smaller, and they have a little magnifying glass because it's micro writing. It is less than it is so tiny that they need these magnifying glasses in here, but they're regular books and they have magnifying glasses on them. I'm just like, what is that? 2, they didn't call this the Butlerian Jihad. It's a holy war, is what they keep saying, holy war. And I'm just like, just say Butlerian Jihad. We all know. We all know what it is. Just say it. Just say the damn word.
Who does that offend? just saying.
Yeah, I know. They keep
Not
saying
offending anyone.
they keep saying holy war, but the thing is that you take away the Butlerian jihad. Jihad is an Arabic holy war term. The thing is, the Fremen are pretty much completely based on Arabic traditions. Like that's part of it. Like I don't get it. Plus, there's a Fremen off-world, which I'm sorry, that doesn't
that was
happen.
weird.
That doesn't, and apparently she doesn't know anything about Dune, like Arrakis. I'm just like, I don't. What? Like
They call
would
it
kill her.
the thinking machine war in the beginning with the
Yeah, but it's the Butlerian Jihad is what this is, because after this there's a purge of all like computers, and I did like someone pointed out that like technology looks the same even 10,000 years, but that is kind of consistent because technology isn't allowed to progress. It's supposed to stay the same, but the mind, people's intellect grows. That's why you have Bene Gesserit. That's why you have mentats. You know, you have people like expanding their consciousness. That's the whole premise behind Dune, is becoming more of a cosmic being instead of a thinking machine. But this one,
I know they said they get rid of all of AI because of that Butlerian jihad, but those lights, they know something.
Yeah,
They're too intelligent.
Yeah, there's some inconsistencies there. This was just kind of disappointing. Now, granted, the production of it looks pretty good, except for the beginning. That looked like a horrible Transformers knockoff movie. Those robots were terribly designed. The acting was all right. They didn't have anything to say. Like nothing was interesting.
No, it wasn't.
They have a lot of talented actors in this, but there's nothing for them to do. It's just kind of boring. The doctor was funny. One of the sisters is Dr. Chakwas from Mass Effect. I was just like, why do I know that name? Why do I know that voice? And I'm like, oh, no, she's playing a doctor again. And then, okay, this is I'm least familiar with the last two of the 5 Dune books, of the original Dune books. The shapeshifters, the face faceless people, you know what I'm talking?
Yeah,
face dancers. Face dancers. Is that who that was supposed to be in that vision? Because that seemed like the thing, but also it wasn't. It was just a failed Reverend Mother. Also, why are they making a 14-year-old, 15-year-old a Reverend Mother already? That's rather odd. And okay, here's my thing about Travis Flamel's character, the soldier dude, psychic dude. Do you think he's a Gola? Because they haven't really introduced those yet either. Mm-hmm. Like Golas are thousands and thousands of years. They're made by the Spacing Guild. So we also didn't get to see Spacing Guild. That's kind of
we never will.
We never will. No. I hate it.
We don't get to see any of the other houses.
So I have a lot of problems with this, mostly because they're just wasting time. They're not showing my anything. Time. Yeah. So I don't know.
See a navigator soon, I'm gonna flip.
You're not gonna see it till they present the Duncan Idaho Gola. So
that's fine. I want to see that too.
Oh, it's funny. I've read people like, oh, I just got to where Duncan dies. They're like, which one? So it's anyway. But yeah, it's just kind of disappointing. Again, it looks good. There's a lot of cool like production in this, but it's just kind of pointless, honestly. So who wants to go next?
Michael, let's get someone that doesn't know the lore.
Yeah, I'm a non-Dooner. I haven't read the books. I enjoy the movies, but that's about all I've got. If you saying it looks beautiful, that's exactly what I was thinking today at work. So I was interested. Actually, Joseph answered my unasked question of was 1 or 2 better to you guys? So what do you two think? 1 or 2 episodes?
One
episodes?
Yeah, which one did you like more? The first one or second?
I only watched the first one.
Oh, okay. And you think
1.
Okay, so that was my thing, because I was watching it. I watched the second episode at work, because I watched the first one and I was like, dear Lord, this is snoozing me to death. I'm dying. So I'm like, I'll just put it on. I'll put it on episode 2 at work, and I was like, oh, this is so much better. And I was like, I bet it's because I'm at work and I'm not really paying attention. I mean, you get what it is. There's nothing happening, but
The first one actually has a pretty good hook at the end. I did
Yeah,
like that. I was like,
like you guys said, both endings I enjoyed.
You
But
got all the sexy scenes that
I had to. I walked off to switch apart, and I came back and said, "Oh God!" It's like gotta turn the brightness down and put up a little blur for a second because I was like, "Whoa!" I didn't. I should have known this was HBO. But anyway, but that's what I kept thinking during. Now this is going to sound even weirder because I kept thinking while I was watching this, like this is just beautiful but boring. Because like beautiful people, beautiful like the outfits, everything look great, the environment look great, the shots look great, but it's just like, holy cow, man! Like Joseph said, it's just so much fluff. There's so many people talking and nothing's happening, nothing's being said. Like so many wasted good actors. Like the guy that plays the psychic dude, the worm eaten man. He's from Raised by Wolves, I believe, which is another HBO show that got canceled. Like him a lot. I was really excited to see him in this, and I'm like, wasting Mark Strong.
He's kind of the best part.
He is very interesting, but it's like you're just like Mark Strong is so cool,
dude.
Like, why are you wasting him?
He was like 10 times better in his one scene in the Penguin than he was in this. In this series so far.
Mark Strong is a very commanding, like authoritative presence, right? Like he's just he's that kind of actor. Yeah. Why is he playing the weak-willed?
Yeah, he's total. That
is such a waste of Mark Strong.
And the Empress, man, she's annoying as heck. And it's just like
but I mean, there's really not much to say about it. Like you said, it's just a bunch of it's like a space soap opera that nothing changes, and then you get one little like hook, like, oh, there's gonna be more in the next episode. It's like after the first episode, I was like, oh, okay, so some stuff's gonna happen. The boy just went kapoof, and the lady went kapoof, and they're gonna deal with that. I feel like the beginning of the second one was interesting because they're dealing with like the aftermath of that, but then it was like a whole slog until they decided, oh, we're gonna bring the mother lady in, and then she's gonna argue with the man, and then she's gonna get scared, and then I don't know. I may continue this. I probably will put it on the background at work and continue, but I'm not gonna like dedicate time to this for sure. It's just like I was. It's sad because HBO is usually good or great in my opinion for their shows, but like this, man, it's just like meh.
The Penguin, man.
Oh, I know. Come off the Penguin to this. I was like, yes, we're gonna get 2 HBOs back to back. This then, oh, no.
It's the same thing. It's like based on a movie, just a little side story, and they totally different.
I don't know what happened here, but they gotta be talking to some people. I don't know. But yeah, that's all I got.
Sure, the last one.
Not much to say. Boring. I was teased by that beginning part with the Butlerian jihad, as we like to say, and then just nothing. That little kid was kind of funny. He's like, "Don't put that in my mouth. I'll put it in my own mouth." And then, but yeah,
he tells her not to talk.
Yeah,
I know. I was like, "You're a brat."
But yeah, kind of boring. That's why I didn't watch the second one. After the first one, I was like, "Well, that kind of sucked." And then it kind of just felt like a really good production, like a sci-fi original show or something like that, but just good production. But
I didn't watch the sci-fi miniseries, but they say that was better than this.
Oh no. I have it. It's pretty great.
I watched like 2 episodes. I didn't really get into it.
McAvoy.
Well, you got McAvoy in the second one. He's in Children of Dune. And then the original one's weird, but it's fun.
It's weird, but
just like the movie.
Yeah.
The movie.
Well, it's one of those things where the technology hadn't quite caught up yet. So it was still using like 2003 CGI models, and they did not age well. So
thinking back to that first episode, it's like they really tried to get like with the movie, because you have like the music and stuff like that, and then by like the second half, it's like, oh, we tried, it's not gonna happen.
Well, okay, the whole thing about Alex saying like the I don't think that's a thing in the first one or the movies. Like I think it's used at points, but not like overly used. This, it was like Gregorian chanting like every 20 minutes of like the sisters.
They did have a lot of weird music cues. Like, I'm like, why are we starting music up right? Like there's one point in this first episode I'm thinking of where the 2 sisters were talking and they just had this dramatic swell of music. She stood up and I was like, is this like we're going to march or something to war. What is happening? But they're just chatting. It was like it was so overly dramatic.
Like with the Villanueva movies, Villeneuve, I can't say his name today.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah,
Oh,
with
I was
his
like-
movies,
I was like, who?
Villanueva was like a basketball player, but
that guy.
Well, I thought you were saying telenovela for a second. I'm like,
but with his movies, they do a good job of making it very alien.
Yeah.
The worlds and the scenery
How
and stuff.
people act and react. Everything feels very foreign.
Yeah. Even with the Atreides, who are more like down to earth, they're still got a lot of like alien stuff.
Mhm.
But this series I don't think doesn't pull that off very well. And like with the school of the sisterhood, it just seems like a school for girls.
That scene was so by the book too, of like the trying to introduce the different archetypes of students in a school. I was like, oh god, please help me. I've seen this 5,000 times. Please stop.
The edgy one, the shy one,
The don't give no craps one. Oh man, what was I'm guessing the thing you were talking about at the beginning that people hated was like the time frame where it was like
No, it's just the title of itself, because like fans love when they see their stuff on the big screen and small screens and stuff. So the Butlerian Jihad it's kind of like the Clone Wars for Star Wars. It's just like fans have always wondered what the Clone Wars was until, you finally got to see it in the prequels. So that's kind of how the Butlerian Jihad is for Dune fans. Is like they really want to see it. And then in the beginning, they call it the Thinking Machine War.
The Thinking Machine War.
So it's like, oh, man.
Well, because they always reference it too, like in Dune, is that they don't want fanaticism to reach that point again, and then when Paul becomes emperor, that fanaticism hits that level again. So they always reference that.
Dude, every chapter, the Butlerian Jihad, it just gets stuck in your head.
Also, it's a cool name too.
It is cool. I didn't say it wasn't cool, but they say it a lot.
Yeah.
That just seems like PC, like out of control. There's like no one would get offended by that. I don't think so, but it's just I don't know. I think that's it. That's like all I got for
it's just
Dune.
Honestly,
to it.
Yeah, there's not really much to talk about, honestly.
How long is this? Anyone know? Like 8 episodes
I'll
or
look
something?
it up. I would
Sounds
guess.
about right.
34 episodes.
No, could you imagine? Oh my Lanta. 6
There is
episodes.
there's a
That
lot
sounds
of there's a lot of production behind this too.
I might be able to get through it, but I said that about Like a Dragon, and I have not gone back to Like a Dragon.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
Yeah. So, you could have gone 2 ways. You could have had the actual founding of the sisterhood, which I thought was going to be it when I went in, or you could just be very Game of Thrones, political intrigue everywhere with them moving chess pieces. But I mean, they try to do that, but it's not interesting at all.
Well,
Just like,
what's that saying from the first one, plans within plans within plans, but no one seems to have a plan in this
they're just
this show.
flying by the seat of their pants.
Kind of winging it, yeah.
yeah, if you wanted to do that, you just do like fast cuts and like showing the plan evolve real fast. But I mean, they have this whole Atreides like arc, and I don't care a thing about what's going on with him. I mean, he's like making out with the princess, and
I know that Dune has narration because it's a lot of the stuff is told from the inner perspective of people. But the first part of this first episode, that was way too much narration.
Yeah.
I was just
terrible. They went through like hundreds of years.
It should have just like began at when the Harkonnen sister was like going through that stuff. It shouldn't have showed the flashback yet.
No.
Well, she was like
way too much
responding to for herself because it was the Harkonnen sister, and then the narrator would like talk to her. I was like, "What the heck? You are that person."
Well, it kind of goes against like the original Dune. Like the original Dune, you're just kind of dropped into this world, and you
Yeah.
have to figure stuff out, which I love when people do that. Like Brandon Sanderson does it, Brian McKellen does it for Powder Mage. Like if you drop somebody in, but your world is well crafted, people can figure out what's going on, and people have already kind of figured out Dune, especially since like the movies were a big hit. We didn't need this entire prologue before we get to the story. You should have just dropped us in the story and we could have figured stuff out later. In fact, that probably would have worked out better for pacing, because that first 20 minutes, I'm just like,
The war happened. There was a lady there, and she
we're still narrating. Like, this is too much. So
it even comes back after a scene.
yeah.
It's like, okay, all right. So tell us what you thought about Dune Prophecy, and we are going to head out. So like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff. And we will see you next time. Bye.